Hello, time for some new Gukesh games here. So I have chosen a couple of more games here added to the Licious study. His next tournament after we can see which he won was this Prague Masters tournament. It was an unsuccessful tournament for him. He got 50%, so it was fine, but like for his rating at this time it was a fine tournament, but of course now when he's about to become world champion it was a bit of a disappointment. I've chosen the two games he won, and he had a very interesting game against David Navarra, where he was like, it was a very interesting opening and he was like winning all game, and it became like an endgame, and Gukesh he played first he blundered, so it became a draw, and then he even managed to lose that end game against David Navarra. But I'm not gonna cover that one because I thought we're gonna do a little bit of a more we're not gonna bring up those painful games. It's a little going to I did some Gukesh losses, but I'm gonna do a little bit more positive, maybe only like show his winning games, his best games. Because it's not far now. Next tournament after this one is the World Champion Candidates tournament in Canada, and here you can see, of course, that he won that one, so he got the right to challenge Liren for the World Championship title. And here, of course, I've chosen maybe quite many games here. Was a lot of interesting games. But let's go for the Prague Masters first. And first game that I'm showing from this one, it's a game against, let's see here. It's against Vincent Keimer and against Nguyen. I think this is Vietnamese for Nguyen, so it's probably a Vietnamese player. Tai Dai Van Nguyen and Gukesh. So let's see here. Gukesh is black, and here he plays interesting d4 here. He's playing, so it will become like a Benoni, but with other opposite colored pieces. Interesting. Also interesting move here, knight e7. Maybe in regular Benoni this could also be an idea, I guess. Then in regular Benoni you could also do this maneuver. I might try that one. I sometimes play Benoni as white, as some mania d4 player, because sometimes in Benoni it's a little bit hard to use the knight. So yeah, a little bit clever. The computer also likes it, so it's definitely, you can see here, knight e7 is computer's main move, so it's definitely computer analysis that Gukesh has shown. But it's interesting here, and soon here he will also do something interesting here, which is that white does not take usually in modern Benoni. White takes here, like you just take here quickly, but no, white doesn't do that, and because of that black actually takes an e3 himself, which is not so common in the Benoni. But I guess he's ready for it here, because he's ready to play e5 here to get white's pieces to not allow, like if he doesn't do that, white breaks with d4 and has the better position, of course, because he's ahead on development. And you can see here computer actually likes to go around with a knight here, so that is that black has to wait for knight a3 before he takes, so white cannot like go here at once. So that's interesting. And you can see here after queen b3 here, looks like computer wants to do this kind of a maneuver. But when white does queen b3, which is quite logical, computer already start liking black here. I'm not so sure about knight b4 because white can just trade it, and this was kind of a problem piece for black, for white I mean. So I was not so sure about that. Computer prefers putting it like here. But okay, let's see what happened. It took here and then developed. He had a little bit problems that he couldn't develop the bishop because b7 was hanging. So at least he got out the bishop now. And after that, if white go on here, of course you can just defend with the queen. White threatened here, so has to play f6. That's also quite nice. Knight b4. It's a maneuvering game here, quite an equal game. What white would like to do is probably to put the knight here, but then black of course can trade it with the knight e7 or so. But that could be, it looks like that's his plan here. Normal plan for white. And interestingly, Gukesh goes for knight d4 instead. And now it becomes the classical modern Benoni structure. So now and these kind of pawn structures always a little bit, computer likes it a bit better for the side not playing the modern Benoni, so in this case it's a little bit better for black. But white has got like kind of perfect stuff here because he's got his knight here, and often in the modern Benoni the knight is like stuck here or on e4, but it's obviously better for d5. So interesting here because I would think, I played quite a lot of modern Benoni, I would think that this is completely fine for white, like you can't ask for more in the modern Benoni than this, but still the computer likes he likes black anyway, even if white achieved this like perfect knight here. But pretty interesting. Looks like computer prefers to play this. Yeah, this looks even to me, but it's apparently much better for black, so what do I know? Okay, so let's see. He instead started to play on the king side. So this opening is so complicated. Often white, like black, has possibility to play like e4, and when it takes, he can go here, or he can play f4, and it's often a complicated game, which could be quite fun to play actually for both sides. And there will always, like if black tries to win here, there will always be a lot of tactics. But it looks like the computer always wants to do this one, to do this trade, and then e4 and e3. That looks good actually, and we can see that he does it later here when he sees it. So now he does that plan that the computer likes. So that, I guess, this is why this plan is why the computer didn't like here. But why, if this is so bad, why doesn't white why doesn't he like prevent it? Okay, but then he doesn't have counterplay, so then black could okay, then when there is no counterplay, black can start the attack like this instead. I see. So white needs to keep, I don't know, and maybe the knight is not so good here. It looks very good, but it actually doesn't threaten so much. Interesting stuff. Now he finds this move. Okay, then he allows the exchange sacrifice. So what about this? Yeah, but it's hard for him, yeah, because this one is hanging now. So it's hard for him to do that. Okay, so white ran out of patience, so he's sacked here, which the computer likes. He likes to change the position like this. And here is a little bit of a mistake. Should take back here, but he did like this. He has to go back, of course. Okay, so the reason is that now black had the opportunity to take here with the queen, which he couldn't do if white took on c4 first, then rook takes c4 and then knight f4, and it was forced this into this line here. And this kind of tactic doesn't work because he can threaten here, so doesn't win for white. Okay, so he did bishop f1. Computer liked this one. Now bishop d5 is a threat, of course, so he should prevent that by trading the bishops. And this looks quite fine for white. Quite active pieces, and he has a pawn and knight for the rook, so computer thinks this is quite fine for white. Okay, so he plays like that. So he could take on d4, but maybe he can always do that later. Okay, they don't like trading queens here. Yeah, if we did trade queens, it's easier for black to use his material advantage. He's a point to rook for bishop, for knight and pawn. So now the computer likes black a lot, and that was also a mistake apparently. If you play an exchange down, you don't want to trade rooks. You definitely don't want to trade rooks, and it looks like black is trying to trade some rook here, or at least he gets the d file with rook d7. Still, computer likes black a lot, but still it doesn't look so, to me it doesn't look so clear, but computer thinks it's definitely winning here. Okay, so here we found some tactics. Let's see, what's this about? So there was a lot of different kind of ways for black to win, and he chose the most fancy. Looks like a5, if he would take that, it's a forced mate here. That's a nice forced mate. But he could also have won with this move. Have to take, and this pin cannot be, is winning a piece for black. And he can also win with this one, which I guess will win a piece next, maybe. Or yeah, sometimes. But he chose the most fancy one, this a5 here. So then he has to take the rook, and now, of course, here white cannot do that, because you can only do that the first. You can only do en passant first if you do it right after they have played it. So here if I try to do it, it doesn't work, of course. So black is winning a piece, and this is easily winning. It's a bishop for a pawn, so it's nothing to do. So it was a very interesting opening here. This I'm gonna try this knight maneuver sometimes. I think this if this can you can do this with white also against the Madame Benoni. Next time we're gonna watch a game against Vincent Keimer.